The idea that our ancestors were not holier and more evolved than us is difficult for most people to accept. Rav Kook, the chief rabbi of pre-state Israel, was a great believer in the idea of spiritual evolution, and he addresses this issue in many places in his writings. When people would ask him why in biblical times God spoke to the people on Sinai, performed open miracles like splitting the Red Sea, and gave us extraordinary leaders like Moses. Well, nowadays, God doesn't talk to us, doesn't perform open miracles, and we have pathetic leaders in comparison to the great prophets of the past. So Rav Kook would respond to such questions in a very unexpected manner. Thousands of years ago, he explained, people were on such a primitive level, that the only way God could get them to have faith and turn their lives towards the higher power was through open miracles. Otherwise, they were incapable of experiencing the divine. It was because they were so unevolved and were incapable of taking individual initiative that they needed an incredible leader like Moses. They had a herd mentality, the mind of the mob. No one else but a Moses could have dealt with them. As it is, he went through endless struggles with this stiff-necked people who rebelled, complained, and went astray over and over again. Today, we see the world with different eyes, because over thousands of years, humanity has gone through a great transformation in consciousness. Today, our consciousness encompasses a much broader reality. We think of in terms of greater expanses of time and of space. Just think of the difference. Thousands of years ago, they lived in a little village. They never went anywhere. A long journey was to the village a few miles away. They couldn't conceive of the universe we live in, where we peer down at the world of the microscopic and the subatomic, or gaze up into the universe of galaxies and supernovas and black holes. And we communicate with each other, as we're doing right now, along the electronic highways of the global village. It's so normal to us now, we don't think of it at all. I remember when I was, 10 years old, and we went to the New York World's Fair, and there in the Bell Telephone Pavilion, you had a screen in one room and a telephone, and you could speak to somebody on a screen in the other room in a telephone. And this was the future. And it completely blew my mind, even at 10 years old. I was awestruck. And here we're living in this world where every day we're talking to each other. And most of the time, it's for free. And we never could have imagined the revolution that has happened in the way we connect and the way we see the world. It's also delved into the inner realm of the human mind in whole new ways, through sociology and psychology and other disciplines. And on the spiritual level, humanity is now capable of experiencing God in a more direct manner than our ancestors. We're able to touch more refined levels of being in awareness in our meditation and during prayer. We can reach higher planes that were not within their grasp. We can expand our minds to see reality in broader dimensions. We have the intellect and the willpower to take responsibility for our lives. And all of these developments have changed the way in which God works in the world. They have enlarged the parameters of the interaction between the divine and humanity. They have opened up new possibilities for relationship between the human and the divine. Therefore, there is now less focus today on the stature of our leaders or on the performance of miracles, and more attention is placed on our individual evolution and growth. If we are a kingdom of priests, then each individual needs to become a priest. Each person needs to fulfill the mission of being a divine instrument. And together we build a great collective vessel or temple with the potential to shift the whole of humanity into a higher state of consciousness, so the entire world can become filled with the knowledge of God. In short, Rav Kook would say the vessel of Israel and humanity hasn't become weaker, it has become stronger and larger than ever before. The whole soul of Israel, Knesset Yisrael, has been building and growing in the higher worlds over the last 4,000 years. Now it's ready to pour its energy and light into the people living in this material world.